Anjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Aradhya Bhagavan Brajesh Tanaya Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Brajavadu Vargena Vakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartho Maha Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatra Dharana Paraha Anarpita Charim Shirat Karunayavatirna Kalau Samarpaitum Unnatojvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundara Jyoti Kadamba Sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandare Spuratu Vashachi Nandana Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jagat Mangala Dvaito Mangala Gunadham Mangala Charitra Sada Mangala Jarana.
Hare Krishna, we'd like to welcome all of the wonderful devotees who have joined us over YouTube Live, devotees who've joined us over Facebook Live, and dear devotees who have joined us over Zoom. We welcome each and every one of you to this day 86 of Sri Gauramrita. Thank you so much for joining us. We really missed all of your association the past week, and we hope to make up for it this week. Hare Krishna. So before we proceed any further, we'd like to announce and congratulate the participants of the quiz session from day 85. We'd like to congratulate Hari Prasad Prabhu, Mother Amrita Radhika, dearest Anjudi, Vaijayanti Lalita Mataji, Mitanjali Pradhan Mataji, Meera Bhushan Mataji, Tithi Mitra Mataji, Janashwar Gauranga Prabhu, Varshana Chitra Mataji, Hari Krishna Madali Prabhu, and Ranjani Gopika Mataji. Thank you all so very much for your enthusiastic and sincere participation in the quiz. We are ever so grateful to all of you.
So today in session 86, we will continue to describe the transcendental treasure trove of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotional pastimes. And we'll describe how Lord Gauranga's performed his pastime in Sri Nilachal Dham, Sri Jagannath Puri, how he delivers the residents of Jagannath Puri, how the residents of Nilachal are just mesmerized by the divine beauty of Lord Gauranga. And then Lord Gauranga has a special desire to visit South India. And Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu glorifies his associates in a very unique way. And then we'll conclude today's session by describing the Phala Stuti, the benefits that we receive by listening to these transcendental pastimes of Sri Gaurahari.
So in our session 85, we heard how Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya becomes a gem of a Vaishnava, how we heard the description of the two most important verses from the 100 verses that were composed by Sarvabhauma in glorification of Sri Gaura Sundara, and how Sarvabhauma tries to change the words of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and how wonderfully, how expertly Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he gives a totally different meaning and a totally different purport to the words of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So today, now we will continue.
Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, in his Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 7, text 3, he says, Hey Mote Sarva Bhomera Nishtara Korila Dokhine Gomade Prabhura Ichha Upajila. That after delivering Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, the Lord desired to go to South India and preach. In Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur describes in Antya-lila that in this way Lord Chaitanya liberated Sarvabhauma and continued his Sankirtan in Nilachala. We had described how Lord Chaitanya liberated Sri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And then he performed non-stop kirtan and dancing. Days and nights were just submerged in a deluge of devotional nectar. And these residents of Nilachala, they were offered a rare transcendental treat of this Sankirtan mood, and they responded by jubilantly singing, Hari Hari, Hari Hari,
Hari Hari.
And people saw their dear Lord Gaurachandra and said, here is the stationary Jagannath, while they have darshan of Jagannath, and they said, here is the moving Lord Jagannath, which is Lord Gaurasundar himself, who is none other than Krishna, none other than Jagannath, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because his personality, the personality of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, just mesmerized the people. They just forgot what they were doing. Wherever he went, he was always greeted with resounding Hari Hari, Hari Hari, Hari Hari. Just by seeing Lord Chaitanya, people would just become devotees, spontaneously chant the name of Hari. And then when he would pass by, people would throw themselves to the ground to bathe in the dust that had the impression of the lotus feet of Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And it is said only the very fortunate, very pious could avail themselves of this transcendental opportunity. Not everyone was able to avail of that opportunity. And whoever could, their bliss was impossible to describe. Just like Krishna, when Krishna was here 5,000 years ago in this material world, on this planet Earth, several devotees were able to recognize him, worship him to their heart's content. But then there were so many other living entities that were not able to take opportunity of his personal association, even though he was personally here. Duryodhan, he was even able to see him face to face, but could not recognize him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 500 years ago when he was here, people were just completely, devotees were bathing in devotional nectar. But then others were just passing by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and thinking, oh, this is just an ordinary sannyasi. Yeah, he has a long way to go. He's just jumping and dancing and things like that. But those who were attracted to him could not resist such perfect beauty. The exquisite form of the Lord just stole everyone's heart.
So it is said by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur that who could resist the divine beauty, the perfect beauty of Sri Gaura Sundara, the perfect beauty of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, the exquisite form of the Lord's transcendental body would steal everyone's heart. You know, when we were reading the narration that Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur has written about the impressions of the lotus feet of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, which would be left on the earth, on the sand, and people would just, the residents of Nilachal, they would just fall flat, offering their, respectful obeisances to the dust of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's lotus feet impressions. And when we read about Krishna Leela, in Krishna Leela, how the gopis of Vrindavan, the cowherd boys of Vrindavan, Jashoda Maya, Nanda Maharaj, everyone, they would actually look out for Krishna. They would know where Krishna is only by his transcendental divine lotus footprints. It is said that Krishna, when he was in Vrindavan, not even once did Krishna wear shoes. So the transcendental impressions of the Lord's lotus feet would be left on the surface of Mother Earth, of Brajabhumi. That is why it is said that the dust of Vrindavan has great, great, great potency. It is Bhava Aushadhi. Bhava Aushadhi means it is the medicine that can cure our material sickness. We are all afflicted by material sickness, that we are forgetful of Krishna. We do not remember Krishna. We do not remember our eternal relationship with Krishna. But when we taste the dust of the lotus footprints of Krishna in the form of Brajadhuli, in the form of Mayapur Dhuli, in the form of Sri Jagannath Puri's Dhuli, the dust from these holy dhams, they are like that amnesia relief medicine that helps us remember our lost, our forgotten relationship with Krishna. It helps us revive that relationship with Krishna. So when we were in Brajamandala Parikrama, we also used to sometimes find it difficult because sometimes, because of our personal incapacity, we would not be able to walk along with all the devotees. We would have to sit down, take some rest, and then walk. So the parikrama would walk ahead, and we would be, staggering behind, tagging on behind. And sometimes we would see that, oh, where are the devotees? We would not find them. And we would ask the Brajbasis, and sometimes we would not see any Brajbasis. It would be forest and forest after forest, or just plain land, nobody in sight. At that time, what would guide us? We would look at the Brajadhuli. We would look at the ground, and we would see all the dancing footprint impressions of all the devotees who have danced ahead of us in the parikrama. And that would help us to reach our destination. So just like this is the mood of the gopis, that we are the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, that we may not be fortunate to see the footprints of Krishna. We may not be fortunate to have seen the footprints on the mud of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, but we can definitely make our lives successful by seeing the footprints left by the great devotees of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu in the form of all our senior devotees, our Guru Vargas. So this is our parampara. So it is described by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur about the exquisite and the perfect beauty of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He says that the lotus eyes of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu were always decorated with cascades of tears in loving separation and in divine bliss. His lips would forever keep vibrating the Hare Krishna mantra. And the golden body of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, which was embellished, which was anointed with sandalwood paste and flower garlands, fresh flower garlands. And it would move like this whenever Mahaprabhu would move, because he would not walk just straight. Mahaprabhu would dance. His walk, every step is a dance. Every word that Mahaprabhu spoke is a song. Katha Ganam Natyam Gamanam. This is what is said by Lord Brahma in the Brahma Samhita. And Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu is a living example of that. Every step was a dance of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and every word was a song. So that would make even the mad elephants, seeing the gait of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, even they would feel so embarrassed that, oh no, we are something awkward. Look at that. That is called a walk, because when an elephant walks, they are like the king of the jungle. No one can stand in front of the elephant. It is, Srila Prabhupada says that, the dogs may bark, the cats may go on meowing, no problem. But the elephant keeps walking without caring for any dogs that may be barking. Srila Prabhupada gave this in the context of a devotee, that a devotee is not really concerned about any mundane people just barking. They may be talking something, it doesn't really matter to a devotee, but a devotee just walks like an elephant, like that, with their head held high. So in this way, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, when he would walk, that elephant who walks like a king of the jungle, even the elephant would become embarrassed looking at Lord Chaitanya, that, oh my, there's someone who can walk more regally than me also. That is the gait of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu.
So, Lord Chaitanya, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although he walked about in the streets, but he was always just deeply saturated in the sublime, in the nectar of love of Godhead. He was completely oblivious to the world. He was just engaged in his own mood to be in this world, but not of this world. He would be immersed in the other world. He would be immersed in the spiritual world. And because of that, the disturbances in this material world would not affect him. Of course, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he was setting an example. That's how we must live. We must live in this world. We must perform our duties very nicely. At the same time, we should be immersed in the other world. That's where we get our strength from. That's where we get our nourishment from. So one time, a little boy, he went to his guru and said, "At your guru, this person said this to me, and this boy told this to me, and this boy hit me, and this person bullying me. I'm so tormented. I don't know how I can remove this torment, get out of the suffering." So the guru said, "All right, sit here. Let me give you a glass of water." The guru himself went and brought a glass of water to this child. He said, "First, drink this water nicely." So he drank this water. The guru brought another glass of water. He brought actually two glasses. So one he drank, and the other was just kept there. And the guru said, "If you want to remove your suffering, you have to become large-hearted. You have to increase the capacity of your heart. And then you will be able to." He said, "What do you mean increase the capacity of your heart? What do you mean become large-hearted?" He said, "Okay, you just drank this glass of water. Now take this salt and put some salt in the second glass of water." So he put this salt in another glass of water, and he said, "Drink it." So this boy drank this. He said, "What did you find?" He said, "Oh, it's too salty. It's a lot of salt." He said, "Okay, now the same amount of salt, let's go to outside to the lake that we have outside our Gurukul. And the same amount of salt, put it in the lake." So this boy said, "What are you trying to do?" He said, just follow me, you'll understand." So this boy went, and then he drank some water from the lake first, and then he put some salt in the lake. That same amount of salt that he put in that glass of water, he put in the lake. The Guru said, drink the water in the lake. He drank and he said, was there any difference? He said, no, no difference. He said, that's what it means to be large-hearted. He said, I didn't get it. The Guru said that the salt was the same. The salt that represents our pain is the same. But that pain, when it goes in a small glass of water, it just disturbs us. We are able to feel the suffering. But that same pain, when it is put in a large lake, large body of water, it just dissolves and there is no suffering. And he said, if you have a large heart, you will be able to, the pain will come, but you will not suffer as a result of the pain. But if we are small-hearted and if we are not, very much Krishna conscious, then that pain will make us suffer. Pain is going to come, but suffering is optional. Srila Prabhupada, in his Nectar of Instruction, he says that a devotee is Mahatma. Mahatmanastu mam partha. And he says Mahatma means large-hearted person. And a devotee is a large-hearted person because he is directly connected to the largest heart, which is of Sri Krishna. And since he's connected with Krishna, he becomes large-hearted, and then this pain does not cause him or her suffering. So if we are always connected to Krishna, like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was, he was walking in Jagannath Puri, but then he was immersed in the real Jagannath Puri, the pastimes of Lord Jagannath. So if we are always immersed in those pastimes while doing our duty, that is an art, and that is a science, the science and art of Krishna consciousness. And by reading Srila Prabhupada's books, by hearing the pastimes of the Lord, we will be able to understand how to be in this world, but not of this world. Just like a lotus flower, be in the muddy water, but not of the muddy water. It is always above the muddy water.
Or Srila Prabhupada gave another beautiful analogy to explain about being in this world, but not of the world. Srila Prabhupada gave the example of a coconut. When we see a coconut, what is it called? The coconut with water, it is still attached to the hard shell of the coconut. It is attached. And you can break the coconut and then you can drink the coconut water and you can, use it is still attached. It's very much attached. The pulp, the flesh of the coconut is attached to the hard skin, outer shell of the coconut. But when that same coconut dries up, if you shake it, then that so-called flesh is already dried up. Although it is within that outer covering, it is not attached. That is how we get dry coconut, which is copra. So it is completely detached from the harder outer shell, but it is still inside the coconut itself. That is how Srila Prabhupada explained that how devotees are. They are in this world, but they do not belong to this world. So we continue now that Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in his Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela in chapter 7, text 4, he gives a brief analogy of the timeline of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's from the time of his acceptance of sannyas. It is described here. It says that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the renounced order during the waxing fortnight in the month of Magh. In the month of Magh, Magh means February, March is considered to be the month of Magh. And during the following month, January, February is considered Magh month. And during the following month in Falgun, he went to Jagannath Puri and he resided there. And at the end of the month of Falgun, he witnessed the Dola ceremony. Dola ceremony means the holy celebrations, which is actually the appearance of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So during the end of Falgun is the appearance of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. On Dol Purnima or Holy Purnima is the appearance. So his appearance, Mahaprabhu celebrated in Jagannath Puri as a sannyasi. This is a wonderful information. And in his usual ecstatic love of God, he chanted and danced in various ways on this particular occasion, celebrating his appearance day in Jagannath Puri. And during the month of Chaitra, which follows the month of Falgun, while living at Jagannath Puri, at that time the Lord delivered Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And at the beginning of the following month, which is the month of Vaishak, the Lord decided to go to South India.
So when the Lord had this desire to go to South India, he just didn't, all right, I want to go to South India. Let me just get up, get my kamandalu. Goodbye, devotees. We'll go to South India. He didn't do that. He actually called all the devotees together and he held their hands and humbly informed them, you all are very, very dear to me, more than my own life. And he was holding their hands and telling this, I can actually give up my life, but to give you up is very difficult for me. So I want to beg one thing from you. I'm just begging you like a beggar. One charity I want. Please give me your permission to leave for a tour of South India. And devotees were like, what? So you'll leave Jagannath Puri? He said, yes. But why? Why do you want to go to South India? Everything is so nice here. Do you not like to be with us? No. I told you, I would give my life up for you. I love your association. But, you know, my elder brother, Vishwarupa, he left home and he took sannyas. So I've heard he's in South India. So I want to go out in search for Vishwarupa. And please forgive me, but I want to go alone. I don't want to take anyone with me. Now, it's very interesting that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew everything. He was aware that Vishwarup has already passed away. Yes, he left the home, he took sannyas, but he has already passed away. But a pretense of ignorance was necessary for devotees so that he can go around alone and liberate the people of South India. Because his purpose of sannyas was what? To liberate the people. And he had done that in Bengal, he had done that in Jagannath Puri. Now he wanted to go to South India and do that. Later he'll go to Vrindavan, and on the way also, he would, in Varanasi, he would liberate so many different sannyasis. So when the devotees heard this message, their heart just broke. They became very unhappy and they just remained silent with their heads down and sullen faces. And Nityananda Prabhu, he was the only one who could speak to Lord Chaitanya what was in his heart. Nityananda Prabhu said, how is it possible that you go alone? Okay, understood. You want to go to South India, you have the desire, no one can stop you. You are independent. Fine. But going alone, who can tolerate this? How can you go alone? When you came from Bengal to Jagannath Puri, we all came with you and we know what kind of challenges were there. And now you want to go alone? Just please. And then he changed his tone. He said, let one or two of us maybe can go with you. Otherwise you may fall into the clutches of the thieves and the rogues along the way. There are so many bad elements. They may be whoever you like, but choose two persons, any two persons. I'm not saying take me, but he was in his mind feeling that, yes, please take me. He's saying, I'm not attached. If you don't want to take me, that's fine. Take any two. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Nitai, Nitai, I know all the paths to these different places of pilgrimage in South India. And Nitai said, I also know, just order me and I will go with you. And Lord replied, I'm just a dancer. And all of you devotees, you are the wire puller, like the Katputli, like puppets. The strings are in your hands, my dear devotees, and I'm the puppet. However you pull the wire and make me dance, I shall dance in that way. Actually, after I accepted the sannyas order, I wanted to go to Vrindavan. But Nityananda Prabhu, you deceived me. You took me instead to the house of Advaita Prabhu. And I came to Shantipur and I said, Advaita Acharya, what are you doing here? And Advaita Acharya asked me, what are you doing here, my dear Lord? This is Shantipur. And you had misdirected me, saying this is the way to Vrindavan.
You said that the Ganga was Jamuna, and then you just deceived me, Nitai. So you broke my sannyas danda. You did lots of atrocities with me on the way to Puri. I am not taking you with me this time. So, like
I know that you have all the affection for me, but such things that you do, they disturb my activities. And who else can I take? Maybe Jagadananda Pandit. If I take Jagadananda Pandit, he wants me to enjoy sense gratification. He just cannot see me in the sannyas robes. And out of fear of Jagadananda's love, I do whatever he tells me to do. But if I do something against his desire of wanting me to enjoy sense gratification, out of anger, he will not talk to me for 3 days. What do I do?
So this one, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, that he is so beautifully narrating how Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu is actually talking about his own devotees, his own associates. But he's saying that Jagadananda wants me to enjoy bodily sense gratification. You know what that bodily sense gratification is that Jagadananda wanted Mahaprabhu to enjoy? It was just to eat, basic minimum prasad, at least at the right time of the day. Mahaprabhu would be in so much ecstasy that Mahaprabhu would skip his meals. He would skip his resting time. So Jagadananda would say, Mahaprabhu, at least take your meals on time. At least take some rest. And Mahaprabhu would be in complete ecstasy. But just look at the love. Let us just see how much Mahaprabhu loves Jagadananda and all the other devotees, that Mahaprabhu is saying that out of fear, I do whatever Jagadananda tells me to do. Because if I don't do what Jagadananda is telling me to do, he doesn't talk to me for 3 days. So Mahaprabhu is saying that, this is, I'm really scared that Jagadananda is going to become angry with me.
So how can I take Jagadananda Pandit Prabhu? Being a sannyasi, I have a duty that I should lie on the ground, I should take bath 3 times a day, even during the winter. But then when I do that, Mukunda becomes unhappy when he sees these severe austerities. Of course, Mukunda does not say anything, but I can understand that he is very unhappy within. And when I see him unhappy, I become twice unhappy. So I cannot even take Mukunda. So please accept my request. You should all remain here in Nilachal for some days, and I'll go to South India in these places of pilgrimage and go alone.
So this is how Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu was trying to convince the devotees. And tomorrow we will see how Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, how Nityananda Prabhu and all the devotees, they say, yes, Mahaprabhu, we will agree to whatever you say. But the devotees are very pained when they see their loved one in difficulty. They also feel that pain. And Mahaprabhu knows that. So this way, actually Lord Chaitanya, in a very unique way, he's actually glorifying his devotees.
So anyone who faithfully listens to this pastime and derives joy from listening to this pastime will be blessed with Lord Chaitanya's direct association. And a sincere listener who hears these glorious pastimes will then swim into the ocean of devotional love, and one who is trying to imbibe the mood of the Lord and the spiritual master becomes very perfectly happy in life and will see the beautiful moonlight face of Lord Chaitanya directly.
Haribo.
Adyapi halila kore Shri Gaurai kono kono bhagavan dekhi bare pai. Lord Chaitanya's pastimes are being performed even now. Whoever is blessed by the Lord to see can see, others cannot see.
এখানে রবির গ্রন্থ
অমৃত লহরী বদন ভরে একবার বলো হরি 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 হরি
হরি হরি.
So today's japa tip is to discuss and keep in mind this affirmation. I get to chant, I love to chant, and I want to chant. If we say this affirmation loudly before chanting, it will be very, very helpful. I get to chant, I love to chant, and I want to chant. Because sometimes when we begin chanting in the morning, a fear may subtly speak in our mind. Sometimes it's the fear in our mind says, this is going to be very difficult. This chanting, 16 rounds you're going to chant today, whole day, it's going to be boring. It's not going to be difficult. It's not going to be sweet at all. And then we may fear, oh my God, I have to go through this. I know I have, and then those memories when we had not chanted properly come in our mind. Yeah, I remember I was chanting and I was so bored. I was so bored, and that same experience is going to happen again. Oh no, all right, I just have to do it. I've told my spiritual master, I've told the devotees I will do it, but it'll be a struggle. And this kind of bogs us down. The mind, this fear bogs us down and saps away our enthusiasm for chanting. And if our chanting is not consistently good, if we've gone through some low points in our chanting for some time, that's when these thoughts will haunt us. But if we say this affirmation, I get to chant, I'm grateful for it. I love to chant because I love it. And I want to chant because I really want to. I do. Deep down, we all want to chant.
Because we need to understand one thing, that yes, although it is with our tongue and with our hands that we are using to chant the holy names, but it is not an easy task. I remember in the beginning days of our Krishna consciousness, my personal Krishna consciousness, one very senior Srila Prabhupada disciple had told us that Krishna needs to give us his permission. He needs to allow us to chant the holy names. Otherwise, our beads may be in front of our eyes, but we will not have any desire to pick it up and chant. That happens. So we have to always be in this mood that Krishna, please allow me to chant your holy names. Please allow me to chant. Just like, Krishna, he is so merciful that Kaliya, he didn't want Krishna to come and dance on his head. But Krishna awarded his lotus feet to the hoods of Kaliya. Pranata dehinam papa karshanam. So this is how, phani phanar pitam. Krishna, the gopis are saying that Krishna, Kaliya didn't ask for your lotus feet, but still you offered your lotus feet to him. Similarly, Krishna, we don't have any desire to chant your holy names, but please, you mercifully allow us. You please permit that you can come, and just like you danced on the hoods of Kalia, even without him wanting it, we also don't want it, but please, out of your mercy, come and dance on our tongue. This is how we need to beg to Krishna before we start chanting.
So before we start chanting, we say, I am grateful that I get to chant because I'm allowed to chant. So I get to chant, I love to chant, and I want to chant. And all of those fears and those subtle struggles will immediately go away. Hare Krishna. So that was the japa tip for today. And now
we'll do some kirtan, and today's kirtan we dedicate to our very dearest Anjudi's mother, who is very sick, and we dedicate the kirtan for her quick well-being, that she is going to be able to recover very, very soon. And for anyone else who may be undergoing any suffering, we pray for them. We pray for our very dear brother. We pray for you and for your family. And we also pray for our very, very dearest AJ, and for Nikki and the entire family of our very, very dearest Amrita Radhika. And we also wish Hari Prasad Prabhu a very, very happy birthday. Although Prabhuji's birthday was a couple days ago, but we want to wish him a very, very happy birthday. So this kirtan is also dedicated to you, Prabhu, and for all the devotees who may be celebrating their birthdays, their anniversaries, wishing everyone a very happy birthday, a very happy wedding anniversary. And may Shri Shri Radha Madhava shower their choicest blessings upon all of you. Hare Krishna.
Shalakaya Chakshurum Malitam Ye Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishta Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So before we open up the lines, here are the quiz questions for today. First, what is the medicine to cure our material disease? Second, how does Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur describe the divine beauty of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu? What does Mahatma mean? Fourth, how can we become large-hearted? Fifth, what is the analogy given by Srila Prabhupada for devotees who are in this world at the same time out of this world? Sixth, what is the pretext of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu to visit South India? How did Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu glorify his associates in a unique way? And last one, what is the Phala Stuti of listening to these transcendental pastimes? Thank you so much, dearest Ranjani Gopika, for these perfectly fantastic quiz questions. We are so grateful to you for this awesome service.
that you are rendering. Thank you.
Thank you. So we can open the lines for any questions or comments, reflections, and realizations that you may want to share.
Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji, Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna, Prabhu.
All glories goes to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. First of all, thank you so much for your wonderful session and wonderful bhajan, Mataji and Prabhuji. And thank you for your prayers for one of my Siksha Guru. She's completely all right. Sukriti Madhavi Mataji, and she's taking class right now. It is because of your both prayers as well and Krishna's mercy as well. Thank you for your kind prayers for that. And I informed her as well because of your prayer well, like that I told. And thank you so much for your kind wishes on my birthday. You remember, it's really a surprise for me. Tears came out. I couldn't expect that when I was chanting, I was not able to see your chat. But after completing my chanting, and then I able to see that even in your busy schedule, so you remembered and wished us. So merciful, both of you. So mercy. I showed to my friends as well. So thank you so much, Mataji and Prabhuji, for that. And coming to our session, it was very nectar today. So we understood that Tuli of Mahaprabhu, right? You explained, right? So when you explained that, I remember that Akrugaras Dandavat to that lotus feet of Lord Krishna, right? His remarks during that, yeah, that one. And one more Pastimes also, I remember. Narada Muni asked to Gopi, right? So give your that lotus test so that my headache will be cleared out. So that too, it come to my mind. And wonderful analogy, Prabhuji and Mataji. So lake analogy as well as coconut analogy. It's really touched our heart. Yeah, we should remember that always. So we should, how we can enlarge our heart and how should we live in this world. That is awesome. That is awesome. And the japa affirmation also, like Radhika Mataji has pinged in the chat. So want to chant, love to chant, and get to chant like that. So that helpful for us to do the japa properly within a proper mood. So that is awesome. And in between bhajan also, you clapped, Mataji, right? You clapped, right? I observed that one. So to give the tempo. So thank you so much for your kind service, both of you. Really, I don't know what to say. Day by day, we're eager to hear more from you. And then the bhajan also outstanding. Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Mataji, Dandan Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada, Jai Shri Guru and Jagannath. So we missed you last week, Mataji and Prabhuji, but such a wonderful session today, wonderful analogy, and also the Japa TV was so good. It's so nice. And when you give the example of Kali and Nag, yeah. So it was so good. Like, we don't have desire, but please, Krishna, please allow us to chant and please dance on our tongue. It was so good. It was so heart touching for me. The Japa tips and the two analogy Prabhu gave, the coconut one and the lake with the salt. It's so good. Such a wonderful session, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Prashana Chitra Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji Dandat Pranam.
Krishna Prabhu.
Prabhupada. Thank you so much for a wonderful class. And again, the Chapa tip, I want to chant, love to chant, and get to chant. I remember that. And nice pastimes also, especially the pretext of Lord Caitanya. He wants to go to South India to meet his brother. So again, thank you so much. And we missed you last week, and we'll again get your association tomorrow. Thank you so much.
We also missed you all of your association, but we are back and happy to be in all of your association again.
Yeah, we were traveling because of Prabhu's work. So we are so sorry that we missed your association.
No,
it was not possible for us to do a live session, but we are so happy to be back again with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Saranam, Prabhu Mataji, Hare Bo.
Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Guru Maharaj.
Jai.
See, when you were not there last week, so I was thinking maybe you went to see the Rath Yatra in New York. Because you keep traveling and you go to all the nice places.
Yeah.
So it was, of course, nice class as usual. Lot of information. And lot of tips.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you
Hare
so much,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Grateful to you for your association.
good to
very
have
much.
you back again,
Thank
as
you.
usual. Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
We are thankful to all the devotees who have given your messages on chat.
Let's see, how do I go? Yes. Anjudi, thank you for your message. Amrita Radhika, Monica Bhavi, thank you. Hari Prasad Prabhu, all of you, thank you so much for your beautiful messages. We are ever so grateful to all of you. Thank you.
If there are no more questions, we can end here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji, Mataji, and
Hare Krishna,
thank you.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.